Hi, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Bree.
We're the PR team
behind the Theatre Downstream.
For our 6th season, we wanted to get to know the people behind the characters. We wanted to get real. This week, Bree spoke with Jodi Johnson, the actress who plays Mrs. Tomlinson and Mrs. Kirke in Little Women. Jodi shares why she feels the arts are so important for introverts like her, why she's looking forward to her 50th birthday, and what, or who, she wanted to be when she grew up. As a bonus, Bree also spoke to Jodi's daughter, Cali, who shared her thoughts about what TTD has meant to her mom, how she feels it has changed Jodi, and officially claims her rightful credit as the person who talked her mom into auditioning in the first place. This was a delightful conversation with the second of our 2 self-proclaimed superfans, and it was a true joy to get to know both Jodi and Cali a bit better.
Welcome to Getting Real.
Oh, thank you.
What is your name and what character do you play in Little Women?
Well, my name is Jodi Johnson, and I play Mrs. Tomlinson, who has a little spoof at the beginning where she introduces Josephine March. And then I'm also Mrs. Kirke, who is the boarding house lady, and also like a filler in places. I'm a tourist and a party guest, and there you go.
Just wear many hats during
That's
this one.
right. Fun.
What is your day job?
My day job is that I am a secretary for a judge in Oldham, Henry, and Trimble County. She covers all 3 counties. Yeah. So I make her appointments and type orders and stuff for her. So
How long have you been there?
Almost 20 years I've been with the courthouse. And, yeah.
What did you want to be growing up?
Well, I was thinking about this question because I've listened to a lot of these podcasts, and this is the weirdest probably. I wanted to be Barry Manilow.
That is probably the best answer that we've gotten. Honestly.
I just couldn't remember listening to his records, and, I did music videos in my living room. I love Barry Manilow.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness. What's your favorite Barry Manilow record?
Oh gosh, my favorite song of his is "Weekend in New England." I just love that song, and I would, do all the. I'm an '80s kid, so music videos were just happening in the '80s, and that is just the best, most dramatic song, and I would, stare off dreamily and sing it in my living room. So,
Cali, is that a fun time for you? She said no.
And then the Boogie Boogie Bugle Boy song was always a fun one too.
Everyone loves that one. That one's a classic. Yeah. So tell me about your family.
Oh gosh. How long you have? No. I have my husband Jimmy Johnson, and we've been married almost 23 years. We were married in 96, so yeah, that would be right. 23 years. And then we have 5 kids. We have one in college. Her name is Madison, and Brooklyn, who is a freshman. And I have 2 boys that are 7th graders, Matthew. Everybody knows him as Chewy, and Noah. And then Cali, 5th grader. Never a dull moment or a quiet moment in the house.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what is something that people may not know about you?
I could drive a forklift.
Really?
There you go. I used to work in a warehouse.
That is something that I would not know.
I had some mad forklift skills, so. My husband always thinks, because that's where we met. We worked in the same warehouse area. And so he would think I wouldn't drive the forklift very good, but I did.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it too. Yeah.
So moving on to theater, what is your acting origin story?
It's been many years since high school, but we had a group in our church called Ordinary People, and they did skits from a group called Isaac Air Freight, and they also did some of their original ones too. And so I was in that group, and it was a lot of fun. I had one solo act that was called The Bible Junkie. I was a Bible junkie, and you pull up your sleeves and a bunch of pamphlets fall out because those are my tracks. Get it? Because pamphlets are called tracks. So it was a whole thing, but yeah. But I haven't done anything since then. I've always wanted to. Always been one of these really shy people who is like, I want to do that, but haven't.
So what's your origin story with theater now or with TTD?
Well, now I got involved because my kids were interested. Matthew was in the Christmas pageant one, greatest Christmas pageant ever, or whatever it was called. So, and I didn't know that was coming together behind the scenes for that during that show. So that was cool to learn. But then Cali has been in a few and coming and being a theater mom, and then watching and thinking, oh, I really want to be involved. And it's such a relaxed atmosphere. It makes inviting. It makes people feel like they can. So.
That's so funny because we're recording several episodes today. So we just talked to Joy Willoughby, and she said that the reason that she even came, she had never even thought about trying theater. And the reason she auditioned for Steel Magnolias was because her daughter begged her to and was like, just do it. And so on the way there, she decided to.
Well,
and I feel like
so
that's how it always happens. It's the person that is just going with them, and they're like, well, I'll try it.
Yeah.
You know? So that's really funny. I love that.
Well, Little Women was a little bit that way because Cali was going to try out, and then I thought, well, I might as well too. So
yeah, that's how it goes.
Yep.
And you typically, going that way for some reason, you get apart. And Joy and Ashley were talking about it, and they said that it might be because you're not anxious when you're getting up on the stage. You're just like, I'm just gonna have fun and see. If it happens, it happens.
Right.
Who cares,
Yeah.
Do you have a dream show or a dream role?
Yeah. I'd love to be Donna in Mamma Mia.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Or even any of the ladies that are the supporting cast. I just, when I watch the movie version of it, there's some of the village little old ladies running around. I think that'd just be fun to just be a part of the dance.
So, do you have a particular method for memorizing lines?
No, well, yes, I wrote them down, and then because I was at work working on them. Sorry.
As you do.
Yeah. And then I started typing the lines. I just typed them over and over and over because when I do things at work over and over like that, it helps me. So that's what I was doing. I did that.
I've known a lot of people who either write it down or like they tell you all the time not to just read it and just keep reading it.
Yeah.
But it seems to work for a lot of people.
Well, I actually think I heard somebody say that in an interview. So this time is the first time I have a lot of lines to memorize. And so, well, not a lot. I just have a few lines, but more than normal. And so I was like, I'm going to try that. And I did.
And how has that been? How has it been like having more lines?
Having more lines? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we've really just started scene work and, so I guess further along, we'll see.
Yeah. So who do you look up to as an actor or a writer, director, anything?
So an actress that we're back to Mamma Mia, obviously, but Meryl Streep in anything she does, she's just amazing. And I like to, especially in Mamma Mia, it seemed like she just really had fun.
Yeah.
With some of those numbers that they did, the musical numbers they did. But, really, I guess that would be my answer. Or Barry Manilow, because... Yeah.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
He's a musical genius.
Yeah.
Also, Sally Field. We were watching Steel Magnolias the other night on television, and I also have the Steel Magnolias poster from when our production did that. And so Cali was trying to figure out who played who from the movie to and then when Sally Field does that scene in the cemetery, I just always lose it. No matter if I'm just walking through the room and that scene is on, her emotion in that is just wonderful.
That is a very beautiful scene. Do you suffer from stage nerves?
Oh, yeah. I'm suffering from stage nerves right now.
Oh, you're totally fine.
I combat it just by being my awkward self. And so like on the way here, I was like, I'm just not going to psych myself up for this. Because I find that if you dwell on what's making you nervous, it makes you more nervous. So you just got to let it go.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of do.
What do you find most enjoyable about acting?
I like, this is the reason I got back involved with the Theatre Downstream is the people. Just getting to know other people. I am very introverted, and so to make myself get out and be sociable, and it's still very, I'm a very awkward, shy person, but it makes me get out of my comfort zone and interact and get to know people. Yeah. And so I would say that for me is the most enjoyable thing, the people.
Yeah, and with this theater specifically, we are very blessed to have a welcoming, close-knit
Absolutely, yeah.
group of people.
Right. You feel like you can get involved
Mm-hmm.
when you are around everybody. Like if I come to practice with Callie when she was in the shows, it's just a family.
Right. Yeah,
feeling.
you're comfortable.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Why do you think that theater is important?
I think all the arts are very important, and I really think we're blessed in our community. The other night, I went to a recital with some of the leaders at our school, and they were showing their talents, and it's very important. I think people need a creative outlet, a way to express themselves, a way to feel like they fit in, or for an introvert like me, I get outside of myself and I can be silly, like in the Bowing Lady when did the Bowing Lady in Sound of Music. That was not something I would generally do. So I think the arts are very important, and I appreciate all the opportunities to introduce my children to the theater and the shows that are put on, because you could go to Louisville and pay a lot of money to watch some of the shows that we're doing at a lower cost. So it makes it accessible for everybody too, what we're doing out here. So
if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about the theater industry, what would you change?
just accessibility, because Lion King came to Louisville and I wanted to take my children, but that's just not, I have 5 kids and that's just, who do I pick to just take? Or
that's like a whole family vacation.
Right. Yeah. It's just very expensive. And so I guess that make it more accessible to everyone.
So moving on to Little Women specifically, why did you want to be a part of this production?
I love the story. I remember reading the book when I was a little girl, and I just love the story.
Yeah. What do you feel like is the most intimidating part of bringing a classic story like Little Women to the stage?
Well, and particularly because they just had a very successful movie version of it. There is and that's probably more for the main cast. There's a lot to live up to because, it has been done iconically in the 1994 version as well. I think we've got a great cast put together, though, that's going to rival any of the productions. But I would say that the iconicness of things, living up to what people expect.
I just remember Jodi's our other super fan. We have Matt and Jodi.
That's right. I am a super fan.
Have you actually listened to all the episodes?
I have listened to all of the episodes.
Wow.
I don't even think Matt has listened to all the episodes.
Even the cat
She just
paws.
got the title.
Even the I also really enjoyed the story that they read.
The monkey paw.
The monkey paws. Yeah, I had read that story. My boss has a lot of weird books at work. And it was in a collection of ghost stories. And so when they started reading it, I was like, gosh, this sounds familiar. And so I looked it up, and sure enough, there it was. And I really enjoyed that.
What do you love about your characters in Little Women?
She's the president of the Ladies Literary Society. We don't really know, but although, here's what I think. I think Miss Tomlinson, I think Brian is Mr. Tomlinson. Because I get to nag him from the beginning when I introduce Josephine, and then I kick him out. The girls are getting ready to do a play on Christmas Day, and there's no gentlemen allowed, so I kick him out of that. And then, I nag him at the party, too, to catch the girls that are running around. So I feel like he's Mr. Tomlinson, so I feel like Miss Tomlinson is kind of, I don't know. I don't know if that's what they intend us to be, if I'm Miss Tomlinson throughout the first, but I'm kind of imagining that.
That's a good theory.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But then we go, I nag him when we go to, I make him carry all my bags when we're tourists at the end because I'm a tourist, and he's a tourist too. So I guess getting to nag Brian will be fun. We'll see. Ashley's giving me a thumbs up.
I would choose that as my favorite part too.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's the best answer.
Miss Kirke is this flighty lady who is just, and so being the twins' mom, I think, will be fun about Miss Kirke because they're just the sweetest.
So you were talking about how there's a new movie coming out, or that just came out. How do you think that our version of the production is going to be different than others like that one or like other stage productions?
Well, unfortunately, ours is written, and so we can't end it the way the movie ended, where, did she marry him or did she not marry him? I Googled it, and Josephine March did never get married. So she didn't marry Mr. Bear. So one wonders if she had to add that into the book because of the way they explained it. I don't know, if that information is out there somewhere or not that made them in the movie that way, but I think that's definitely going to be one way it's different.
Do you mean Josephine March or do you mean Louisa May?
Louisa May Alcott, yeah.
Okay.
But isn't it
Loosely based on
loosely by, I guess, I'm sorry.
Wait.
Well, I know one way that ours is different than at least that film is that Mrs. Tomlinson isn't even...
Oh, right, yeah,
she's
that's
not a
true.
character.
Yeah. And the boarding house lady, Mrs. Kirke, is going to be a lot different than me, too. She was a little harsh. I guess I'm not going to be as harsh as she is.
Why do you think that people should come see Little Women?
Well, I think it's going to be a fantastic show. I think the cast that they've pulled together, as always, is wonderful. Our Little Women already, we're just, in the beginning getting it together, but there's such a camaraderie between them, even when we're not rehearsing, that I think is going to be a special thing once it gets on stage. So
Yeah.
And you got to support our local theater. So
Heck yeah. Yes.
So come to every show.
Please.
Yeah. But I've always been bothered with the whole Amy, even in the auditions, when they read that part about, I'm going to go to Europe. And I was like, oh, Jo just got stabbed in the heart. Yeah. Even though she says, she'd already turned Laurie down by then, but dies. And I understand our Beth is looking forward to the dying scene very much.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to the rapid fires.
All right. No pressure.
If you could choose the next TTD show, what would it be?
Is there any Barry Manilow music? No. Mamma Mia. Yeah, I love that one.
What kind of roles do you prefer? Do you prefer comedy, drama?
I think I like comedy. And actually auditioning for speaking parts rather than I come from a musical family and we all sing, but so I shouldn't, and I sing in church and stuff, but the musical audition for Sound of Music, I want to do over because, oh my gosh.
She came home in the car, she was like, that was so bad.
It was so bad. I got so nervous.
For a month.
And shaking, and it was just, that was insane. That was really insane. So, surprisingly, I think speaking roles and comedy for sure. I think I would have a hard time being too dramatic.
Tell me about a time when you had a really bad day, but you had to perform that night. How did you get through it?
When Callie was in Mary Poppins, the boys, my boys, my lovely
7.
Chewy and Noah, they were out in the yard driving the Kubota, whatever it's one of those all-terrain vehicles, whatever.
Yeah.
Matthew rolled it over, and it pinned Noah on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
He couldn't get out.
His
So
foot stuck.
that happened earlier in the afternoon, and then, Callie had to be at the theater, and we had to be there, and my whole family came to watch her in the theater, and I was just, everybody was okay. That we didn't even have to take him to the hospital. Right, yeah, it could have been really bad. So, but the show must go on, so she had to be there, and we had to be there, and so that wasn't a performance for me, but she had to go through that too, and I had to get her there and all of that, so.
What was the biggest audience that you've performed in front of?
So this would go back to the days where I was in that drama troupe in high school, and we performed at a youth lock-in, and there was one particular skit, and it ended with this song from, I think, Andre Crouch called Jesus, You're So Wonderful. It's really cool. But it was like they were bikers, and then it was harken to boy band days. But there were like 300 kids there that we performed for. I was one of the soda shop girls, and I had a few lines, and so that was big. And then we took our drama troupe. Actually, we had this big youth group, and we would go we went to camp one year in New Hampshire at a place called Monadnock, and that was super fun. But we took our skits there too, and did our skits we ended up doing our skits for the entire church camp that was there. And when we left, it was as if there were kids surrounding our van telling us bye, and because they all made fun of our accents and our Southern accents because they were in New Hampshire. We made fun of theirs too.
What is a classic novel that you love, or just one that you've read?
So, The Outsiders, I wore that book out.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I read that book a lot and cried every time. But I remember reading that one a lot. Very good book.
I remember getting made fun of in middle school because people knew, like, we, in the same year, I don't know who made this decision. Whoever did it, it was probably Jill, and I'm going to fight her for it. We read, like, Where the Red Fern Grows, and I don't remember what another one was. Maybe Tuck Everlasting, and The Outsiders, like, all within the same year.
Wow.
And by the time we read The Outsiders, everybody just knew that I was the crier. So, like, we'd be watching the movie and reading the book, and people would be like, "Is she crying yet?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Stop!" Like, it was torture. I was like, "Don't make me read sad things and not expect me to cry."
I also remember reading A Wrinkle in Time a lot too. I loved the Madeline L'Engle. I don't like the movie, but I loved the book. I really didn't. I also did not really care for the Outsiders movie, but the book was just better.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that always the way it is?
Yeah. The idea behind this question is that Jo decides to go to New York and says that she just wants a new beginning. She wants to start over. So what is a new beginning in your life that you're most looking forward to?
I've had a lot of new beginnings. I'm almost 50. So that's a good one. I will turn 50 this year, and I am looking forward to turning 50.
Yeah.
Because I'm a cancer
You should be.
survivor, and so you always, my mom always says, better than the alternative, getting older. So there's a Saturday Night Live character, Sally O'Malley, who when she says, "I'm 50 and I can kick and I can stretch and I can kick." So this is my Sally O'Malley year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Not 50 yet. September. But September I'll be 50.
I'm throwing you a surprise party.
It's not a surprise if
You
you
just told
me.
her. What is something from your childhood that you keep close to your heart?
My journals, my diaries.
Yeah. I still have all of mine.
I thought she was getting ready to say I had a crush on someone. I was like,
No.
I don't think Dad would be very pleased for you saying that.
Although I'm very angsty in my journals from my childhood. And I wrote poetry when I was a teenager too. And I was reading some to the kids the other day, and I was like, man, I had issues. So, but those are, and why I was reading that to my son is because he was talking about how grown-ups just assume things and they're out to get you. And I wrote a poem about that. I was like, see, I felt the same way when I was your age. Well, that was a little card I wrote to my mom. But as a 16, 17-year-old, I was very angsty because, I don't know, I'm this joyful person, but there's a lot going on under the surface that, people don't, I don't open up, so whatever. But the poetry and the journals remind me, yeah.
Yeah. Do you still do poetry?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're a very busy family now, so I don't have a lot of time to sit around and do that. But, yeah, that's something I really love to do and journal. I haven't written in a long time, but well, there you go. Yeah, but it's something, it's great to look back and see how you've grown as a person too. So it's important, I think, to write down things, especially when I'm turning 50 and won't remember things after a while.
Which March sister do you think that you would be?
Beth, the one that's behind the piano, just kind of in the background, scared of people. All of that, yeah. I mean, don't we all want to be the Jo? But
yeah, everyone wants to say Jo. But...
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to do the final 3 questions.
Okay.
Which we ask everybody.
Mm-hmm.
What is your best advice for other actors?
My best advice for other actors, just if you've ever thought about doing it, just get out there and do it. Because you sit there, like I would sit at shows and think, oh, I really want to be a part of that. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no harm in trying.
No, there's no harm in trying, that's for sure.
What would you tell the 10-year-old version of yourself?
To be more comfortable in your skin. I mean, I'm still learning that too, but I don't know how else to say that.
Yeah. I think that's a constant thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like for all of us, we just kind of
It is.
keep learning and growing.
Yeah. Keep learning and growing, that's right.
If you knew that you could do something without fail, what would you do?
Be Barry Manilow. No. No.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you for coming onto the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
Super fan. Out.
Well, ma'am, thank you for coming on to Getting Real.
Thank you for having me.
What is your name?
Jodi Johnson,
And which character in Little Women are you related to?
my mom.
Oh, really? Thank you. Thank you for that one. Thank you for that. Who is your mom?
Jodi Johnson,
Who does she play?
Miss Kirke, Mrs. Tomlinson, and she's a lot of extra people.
So what is it like? Have you been going to rehearsals with your mom?
Yes.
Have you been having fun at that? What's that like?
A little bit boring, but it's fun to see how the show's coming together.
Are you excited to see what it's going to be like opening night?
Yes.
What are you most excited about?
I'm excited to see how my mom does.
So what is it like having a mom that's in theater, and how has your life changed since she's been in theater?
Well, it's changed by her personality's changed. I think she's come out a lot, I guess. I think it's different because a lot of parents don't do it. So it's just fun to see your parent get out there.
Have you done a show with your mom?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was fun. It was fun to be on stage with her.
Yeah.
What show was it?
The Sound of Music.
And was your brother in that one? No. Have you done a show with your brother?
No.
No? Well, we're going to have to change that soon, huh?
Yep. I have to talk him into it like I did my mom.
Oh, are you the one that talked your mom into trying out? Good job, girl.
Good job, Callie. Our little recruiter over here. So what do you mean by your mom has come out a little bit more? Tell me about that.
I don't know how to explain it, but she's become a different person.
How so?
Because I think the theater family has, she's made a lot more friends with them, and she talks to more people, but her first show, which was He Needed Killing, she didn't really talk to much people, but her second show, which was The Sound of Music, she had a lot more friends and talked to people, I would say.
So what do you think that TTD has done for your mom?
I think brought out her personality and her awkwardness, especially as the bowing lady. She got to show how awkward she is at home.
And that was Sound of Music, right?
She would ask me her opinion, and I have a really strong opinion on a lot of things.
I can believe that.
And sometimes she does not like my opinion so much. Anything she likes, I don't like.
Oh, we're just going to stick with that, huh?
What shows have you done with us?
So my first one was Mary Poppins, Annie, and then I was in Sound of Music, and then I tried out for Little Women. I've never not gotten a part, so it was different. I like being behind it and getting to see it all come together.
Do you think that you'll ever work behind the scenes?
I've done concessions once, but I think it would be fun to work up in the sound booth and see how it all comes together. Oh, I would want to do Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You help with costumes a lot
Yeah.
during Sound of Music too.
Do you like helping with costumes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It gives me something to do. It's different than doing anything else, because they have to be on in so much time that you're you have to do this, and then you have to find this. There's so much there's so much of them, and for the same costume, so it was different.
Hey, quick changes are an art form of their own, so.
Oh, and all those kids had the same
Like,
clothes.
if
Yeah.
So
and then
just
their
telling them
socks.
apart was, it was
the
was a
socks
challenge.
the socks were dirty, and I just gotta smell those stinky socks all the time. Like, I think
wanted to
it
be
was,
fired.
I don't know who it was.
The first few times I wanted to be fired from that job because I had to. I was like, oh, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but it came together. It was
But then
fine.
you got assigned a child.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, not that I know
Okay.
of.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Special thanks to Jodi Johnson and Cali Johnson. This concludes our interviews with the cast of Little Women and is the end of TTD's regular season of shows. However, the activities for the year aren't over just yet. Join us next time when we'll talk with Keith Amiot, TTD's membership coordinator, for all the news about the upcoming membership dinner and Tibby Award ceremony, as well as his thoughts on his TTD experiences so far. Very special thanks to the sponsors of Little Women: Mary Bryant, Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, and the bookstore at the Berry Center. This episode of Getting Real was executive produced, edited, and written by me, Ashley Raymer-Brown.
It was produced, edited, and co-written by me, Bree Highshoe.
Music was provided by Final Cut Pro, and artwork was created by Ashley Raymer-Brown. That's me. And Bree Highshoe.
That's me.
Getting Real is a separate entity from the Theatre Downstream. The thoughts and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of the Theatre Downstream or the sponsors of their shows. Thanks for listening.